welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take, well, a whole stack of sources, articles, notes, you name it, and we try to pull out the absolute key insights for you. Think of it as a shortcut to getting really well informed on a topic.
Exactly.
And today, we're diving headfirst into something really quite special. The world of métier d'art in watchmaking. Now, if métier d'art is maybe a new term for you, it basically covers those incredible high-level artistic crafts you sometimes see in luxury watches. Things like, engraving, enameling.
Miniature painting, that sort of thing. Really intricate handwork.
Precisely. And we're focusing specifically on how one brand, Louis Erard, is actually making these amazing traditional crafts, well, maybe a bit more accessible.
Yeah, bringing them to a wider audience, which is interesting in itself.
It really is. So our sources today are mostly centered around Louis Erard's brand new watch, the Gravée Main.
Which literally means hand-engraved.
Right. So the name tells you a lot already. It spotlights this incredible hand-engraving artistry. It sounds super high-end, maybe even unattainable.
But that's where Louis Erard is doing something pretty unique, I think.
Okay, so what's our mission then for this deep dive? What are we trying to figure out?
Right. So first, we want to really understand how Louis Erard actually built this reputation for bringing these, usually very exclusive art forms to more people.
Okay.
Then we'll dig into the hand engraving itself. What makes it so special? Why is it different?
The actual craft.
The craft itself, yeah. And finally, we'll look at this specific watch, the Gravée Main, and uncover the surprising details that make it genuinely a one-of-a-kind thing.
Okay, sounds good. Let's unpack this. Louis Erard, they've really, consciously spent the last few years trying to bring métier d'art to more people.
They have. It's been a clear strategy.
Because usually, like you said, these crafts are reserved for watches that cost, well, a fortune, often bespoke pieces.
Exactly. The kind of thing you commission, almost.
So how have they done it? How do you democratize something that feels so inherently exclusive? What's the secret sauce there?
Well, that's really the interesting part. They've managed this accessibility mainly by focusing on direct collaborations with individual artisans. And they do it for limited production runs. So instead of these massive, multi-year, bespoke projects you see at the ultra-luxury end, they partner directly with masters like Maksym Shavlak for this engraving piece.
Maksym Shavlak. Got it.
And this direct approach, plus maybe using methods that are incredibly skilled, but perhaps, let's say, less resource intensive than some really top tier applications, it lets them offer these amazing crafts without, completely breaking the bank.
While keeping the quality high.
Absolutely. Quality is key. And we've seen them do this before, right? They did limited series with grand feu enamel.
Which is that complex fired enamel technique.
Exactly. Multiple firings, very tricky. And hand guilloché.
The engine-turned patterns.
Right, using a rose engine. They even did wood marquetry, making pictures from tiny wood pieces.
Wow, okay.
So with this new Gravée Main, it's like the next step. They're putting hand engraving right out front.
And this is where, for me, it gets really fascinating. Because hand engraving is it's fundamentally different from machine engraving, isn't it?
Oh, completely. Night and day.
A machine can just repeat a pattern perfectly, endlessly, identical copies.
Yeah, precision, repetition.
But proper hand engraving, that's all about individuality, right? Each one is unique. Can you expand on that? Why is that difference so critical here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The defining thing about hand engraving is, the unique cut and curve of every single line. You literally see the trace of the artisan's hand. It means every single watch is genuinely a one-of-one creation. There are no two identical pieces.
Even within the limited run.
Even within the limited run. For this new series, the engraver, Maksym Shavlak, he's Ukrainian, he spends over 50 hours on each watch.
50 hours?
50, plus think about that. 50 hours of just intense, meticulous focus on one watch case.
That's incredible. I can barely manage 50 minutes on one task sometimes.
Right. It's almost like a meditative thing for the artisan, a sort of dialogue between their hand and the metal. And that translates directly into the unique character of every piece.
So that really makes you appreciate the human element, the sheer skill involved. So what sort of patterns or motifs is he creating? And you mentioned the material earlier. Is there something about that choice that makes it even more impressive?
Yeah, you definitely hit on a key point there. Maksym is carving these really intricate floral baroque motifs.
Okay. Very classic.
Very classic, yeah. It's a clear nod to those elaborate old clocks and pocket watches from maybe the 18th century, bringing that historical vibe to a modern piece.
Nice.
And you're spot on about the material. He's carving into steel.
Steel, not gold or silver.
Steel. And our sources all confirm steel is significantly harder to engrave than precious metals.
I bet.
It demands just immense precision, really controlled force, and very specific tools. They're called burins to get those different line widths and depths.
So it's technically much more challenging.
Way more challenging. But that technique gives the Baroque patterns this beautiful, almost three-dimensional quality. It really plays with the light. And choosing steel, well, it's tougher to work with, but it's also more durable, maybe has a more modern feel. It fits Louis Erard's whole approach.
So it's not just showing off a craft, it's making something resilient, wearable, accessible in that sense, too.
Yeah.
How does the rest of the watch design kind of support this idea, this blend of art piece and functional watch?
Well, that's where I think the design is really clever. They haven't just made a beautiful canvas. They've made sure this piece of high art is also, a very practical wearable watch.
Okay.
So size-wise, it's 42 millimeter across, about 12.25 millimeters thick. Lug-to-lug is just under 50 millimeters. That hits a kind of sweet spot for modern tastes.
Right, not too huge, not too small.
Exactly. It means the artistry isn't like clunky on your wrist. And even with all that engraving, they didn't skimp on durability. Polished stainless steel, domed sapphire crystal.
With anti-reflective coating.
Both sides, yeah. So it's clear and tough. And it's got decent water resistance too, 50 meters. Practical stuff.
Okay, practical. But then, in contrast to this really lavishly engraved case, I read the dial is quite restrained.
Yeah.
Minimalist, even.
It is, yeah.
Does that sort of understated look maybe clash with the boldness of the engraving? Or does that contrast actually help the art, pop more?
Oh, it's definitely the latter. That's a great question. The dial is very deliberately minimalist. It's finished in this glossy black lacquer, anthracite transfers for the text.
Classy.
Very. Classic Roman numerals, elegant pear-shaped hands, plated in rhodium again, nods to classical watchmaking. And there's a neat little small second subdial down at 6 o'clock, just balances the whole thing nicely.
Okay.
So this contrast, this play between the incredibly rich case and the quite clean, understated dial, that's what makes it work so well, I think. The art really speaks for itself, but you can still easily tell the time.
It's legibility meets artistry.
Exactly. A masterclass in balance, really.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, what about the engine inside? What's powering this unique piece?
Under the hood, it's running on a Solita SW261-1.
Ah, a reliable workhorse.
A very reliable automatic movement, yeah. Beats at 4 hertz, 28,800 vibrations per hour, standard 38-hour power reserve. It's got an elaborate grade finish.
So nicely decorated.
Nicely decorated, yes. And they've even given it a special open-worked rotor, the oscillating weight, with a black lacquered Louis Erard symbol. You can see it all through the sapphire case back.
Nice touch. And it comes on a black grained calfskin strap, I saw.
That's right.
And get this, the buckle is hand engraved too, just like the case.
Yes. Isn't that great? That continuity is such a key detail. It really ties the whole look together.
It really does.
So yeah, black grained calfskin, tone-on-tone stitching, and that steel pin buckle is also meticulously hand-engraved by Maksym.
Wow.
It even has quick-change spring bars, which is handy if you wanted to swap straps, but honestly, with that engraved buckle...
So you'd want to keep it together, right?
Exactly. It feels like part of the whole piece, and it really is limited. Just 99 of these unique creations are being made.
Only 99.
And the price. The price is set at CHF $5,450 before taxes, which, for a piece with this level of handwork...
Over 50 hours of hand engraving.
On steel, it feels pretty remarkable in the context of métiers d'art.
Okay, so let's try and sum this up. The core takeaway here seems to be that Louis Erard is genuinely finding ways to, well, democratize feels like the right word, this world of métiers d'art in watches, especially with this Gravée Main.
Yeah.
They're showcasing the incredible individuality, that human touch of hand engraving, but making it attainable for more people than usual.
Absolutely. And the key things to remember are how they're doing it. Each piece has that huge investment of time, over 50 hours from Maksym Shavlak.
Right.
He's carving these complex Baroque patterns into steel, which we know is much harder than engraving gold.
A significant challenge.
That's definitely. And then there's that deliberate design contrast, the super ornate case versus the clean, readable dial. It makes the watch both a stunning, unique piece of art and a really functional time teller. That combination is key to its accessibility and high horology.
It really is a fascinating blend. Okay, so that leads us to our final thought for you to consider. thinking about this Erard Gravée Main and how it mixes traditional handcraft with, let's say, modern accessibility. What other age-old artistic traditions or maybe specialized skills you think could be reinterpreted or democratized in a similar way, to find a new audience in our contemporary world?
That's a great question to ponder.